Guys, each week we try to bring you a pro tip, sort of a tip, a hack, something to help make your life and your job maybe a little more efficient, a little better, bring a little sunshine into your day. And I believe my buddy has something all set up and ready for today. Am I correct there?
That's right. Yeah. So today our pro tip is a book called PR Matters, and it's by our friend Justin Dean. And let me see if I can tag him in there. There we go. That's our pro tip for the day, is this book right here. I don't think I have a video monitor. I do right here. PR Matters. I hope it's straight on your end. This is an amazing book. It came out last year, and if you hang out sometimes, there's a way to get it for free from Justin through other resources, but I really honestly wouldn't wait for that. I would get the book. It is approximately 220 pages of public relations goodness, and I'm going to kind of sum it up for you here. PR matters because it matters what people say about our churches, about your church. And so public relations is not, sometimes we hear that in business and say, oh, they're just trying to spin something, something bad happened and they're calling it a feature, or something bad happened and they're saying, no, we meant to do that. And that's not exactly what public relations is. Public relations is influencing, controlling, and maintaining how people perceive your church. So in this book is all about how to prepare for things that happen in your church, how to get messaging out. There's a lot of marketing stuff in here too, like social media, planning, and organization. And really it comes down to, there will come a day when something bad happens in your city or in your church, and you need to be prepared on how to respond to it. And I actually interviewed Justin with my previous podcast, Church Marketing School, and I actually gave him PR disasters, and he kind of responded to. It's one of the shows we have in limbo. Like, if just one day we both get the flu, we're going to play that as a backup. But Justin Dean knows what he's talking about, and he's lived through this stuff and how to prepare for this. So things happen, like someone says something bad about the pastor, and whether that's true or not, your church needs to respond. Something bad happens in the city. Maybe there's a shooting in your city. How is your church going to respond? Are you going to just lay low and wait for things to pass over? Or are you actually going to respond? Or something bad may happen, like your church may catch on fire. I have a very good friend, Evan Duncan, whose church burned down. And it was a terrible thing, but are you prepared for if that would happen? Or if there's a flood in the sanctuary, say a pipe breaks, right? It's not just about public relations in the city, but also with your people. Like, if your pipe breaks on Saturday afternoon, how are you going to get the word out? What's the plan to communicate that, hey, we can't have church and service right now because the altar is 3 feet underwater? So that's what all this is about. Now, my favorite part, the thing that makes it a pro tip, it's more than a book, is it actually comes with a bunch of templates that you can use to quickly get started. So it's got like a photography release form that you can use and just give to your ministries, because we're supposed to have those. Especially for kids ministries, right? You're not allowed to take pictures of kids without parents' consent. So the form is in here. All you have to do is, it actually comes with a digital copy too. All you have to do is copy that and give it to your ministry and say, hey, every year when you sign medical release forms, slip this in there. It's got a social media planner and guide, and it just kind of lays out, this is kind of what you should be posting on social media. This is what we see works. And this is how to control things like, public relations, putting out good images out there, because that's great. You have a ministry that feeds the homeless every month. Newspapers aren't going to report about it unless you give them a reason to. So ways to collect stories and share that, person interest pieces with news outlets, how to network with the people around town, network with not only with news, but with bloggers. If there's a mommy blog in your town, no matter how big or small, it'd be really good to start that relationship, and maybe you can, do some partnerships down the road, and where they can give you publicity, and then you can bring them in because they know something that you don't, and can help your church. And then the last thing is a crisis management planner. So this is where you take common scenarios like we talked about before. Someone says something bad about the pastor, whether it's true or good, there needs to be a response, because it just looks bad. if you just kind of hang out. And how to handle even press releases is in here. So this is a great book, and it's actually inspired me. One of the things I want to do at my church, because we are a committee-driven church, is I actually want to create a public relations committee and plan out some of these things. Plan out if there's a pipe leaking, if something happens at the building, how are we communicating that? If something bad happens in the town of Edinburgh, if there's a school shooting, or if there's a train falls off the rails and is really bad and impacts the city, how are we going to respond? How are we going to get there? Because that kind of thing can be planned ahead of time. It's one of those things where you pray it won't happen, but you plan that it might. Like we were talking about last week with the damage mitigation with owning your own platform. So that's my tip of the week. I got the digital version and the book version, and actually got mine signed too by Justin Dean with his little catchphrase there: "Stay salty." Matthew 5:13. So that's my pro tip. And next week I'm gonna release a book review for it on Church Training Academy, and you can pick it up there too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's really good, and he's a good guy to know.